Okay, so where to begin? Yeah, Ben, I've known you for a few years, at least more than a few, probably.
Yeah, I guess we've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
The last one I think was over the phone, though, wasn't it?
We never did this before.
Never?
No.
We just keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So we can talk about podcasting eventually on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's very meta, and if people still use that expression anymore.
They do.
So at long last, this is great. Yeah. And Annie Hart, you are, Ben Kasulke directed his first film. It's called Banana Split.
Yeah, not to be confused with the Banana Splits movie that's out right now. It's a Banana Split single.
Oh, they did make a movie finally of that
They made it,
series.
Yeah, it's like a horror take on the 70s like kids show. And it's pluralized Banana Splits.
Is it with a Z?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
No, it's with an S.
And an exclamation point?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. It's coming out on the Sci-Fi Network next week or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's not going to have a theatrical. It's going to be...
I don't know. There's all these reviews of it, and it's out online or it's out somewhere.
Yeah.
People are seeing it.
Okay. So we're doing a good job promoting it.
Yeah, I mean, they probably need help too, so it's good.
I don't know.
I'm happy to help them.
Uh-huh. Okay, so as long as it's not going to present some sort of problem for you in the name of your film.
No, I don't think so. As long as
proper-
we clarify it and give them a little thumbs up. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And you're getting proper distribution.
Well, we don't know yet. We're talking about it, and I've got people telling
How
me
much money is... No, I'm kidding. Well, I hope... my fingers crossed. It's certainly worthy, I think, of that. It was really well directed. I think you did a fantastic job. And the music is... not to leave you out. So you composed all this, the score, I mean, there's a lot of pop songs, obviously. Did you have anything to do with a couple of the songs?
Yeah, one of my... I think how I came into the project was that you guys put one of my songs as one of the pop songs into the film.
Okay.
And then I came on.
Yeah, I saw the video you made for... First video for Impossible Accomplice. The one you did
Hard to Be Still? The one I did myself?
I saw the video for Hard to Be Still and loved it. Yeah, and it was... I don't want to explain what your video was. You can explain it, but...
No, you explain it. Well, you're the observer.
I loved it. So Annie's music's awesome. It just this music spoke to me, but then she had made this video that was just mostly just you in a basement alone, and then and just singing and playing this awesome song, and then I was like, this is so good because it sounds timeless and it had all the sort of like lo-fi synthy stuff that just makes me like heartthrobby. And then and it's just Annie being awesome in the video. And then at the very end of the video, there's this like little credit roll, and Annie's credited with everything in high speed, and it's really great. But
it's good that it's more ironic when you do it in high speed.
Yeah, like
because there are people that will put like 20 credits to their name and they mean it.
Yes. I was the caterer. I mean,
did you have a bagel?
I opened the bag of pretzels.
Oh, nice.
There you go. You didn't make the pretzels, though.
Udi's? No, wait. No, it's the Utz's.
Utz's.
You're in Utz's household?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, with a name like Hart.
Actually, normally I would make the pretzels. I'm that kind of person, but I didn't have time. I had to make a music video.
Right. You got to choose a lane. So here we are in Woodstock, New York. And where are you having your premiere?
Our New York premiere.
New York premiere.
Yeah.
Where did it have a premiere?
LAFF. So we've been doing this for almost a year.
The Los Angeles Film Festival?
The last Los Angeles
It was
Film
the last
Festival.
one, I was going to say.
Yeah, they changed their sort of mission. They're doing more one-off community kind of events throughout the year rather than putting everything into the festival.
I see.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, it's not like independent film thrives in Los Angeles. I mean, there's clearly a lot being filmed there.
Yeah.
But it kind of lives elsewhere.
Yeah, it does, and I think it's hard to make independent films in Los Angeles.
I agree.
Mostly just logistics and cost. I think the talent base is there and the crew base is there, and it's world class everything. But it just costs too much money.
Yeah. But I noticed that tons of stuff are shot there. Independent films are shot there.
Yeah.
And this one, Banana Split, which is the film we're talking about, yours, you shot parts of it clearly in Southern California.
Yeah.
And then you faked part, which is really, I have to go back and watch it again because I was just kind of curious I guess the school maybe and things like that are in Syracuse. And
some of the school, yeah. So we shot, we did 5 weeks of shooting in Syracuse, New York, in very late fall, early winter. So, if we were to pan the camera over to any of the windows, there would have been a snowstorm outside for most of that shoot.
Come on.
Yeah, no. I won't.
Did people have to have ice in their mouth when they did scenes? Remember that? You know that?
No.
You know about that?
Oh my God.
Oh, you don't know about that?
That's a Seattle trick. We had.
They've been doing that. They did it back in Hollywood, and they used to.
It prevents the fog, the condensation. Like if you're shooting in a really cold.
If your
studio.
mouth is colder than the air.
Yeah, but how do you speak normally?
That's not my problem. The fuck do I know?
Utahagen tricks you got.
It's method acting. Yeah. You figure it out.
Yeah.
If it means something to you, and if you're a serious actor,
they send you to New York for a year, and you study with Brando.
Right. Who had that's what was it? People say it was cotton, but it was frozen ice.
So much ice. Yeah. No, we didn't have to do any ice. But yeah, we we did like 5 weeks of shooting in New York, central New York, and then maybe 6 day, 1 week of shooting in Southern California. So, and the way that the script is sort of broken down, every now and then the story cuts into something that's outside and sunny,
like a trip. Yeah, they go on, or there was a trip.
They go on a trip, or somebody's outside, or occasionally you're outside somebody's house. Yeah. Those things, anything that's outdoors, Southern California. There's one shot we got outside, but looking into a cafe from the outside in Syracuse, New York, and it was pouring. Snow was just dumping that night, and so we just waited for it to clear and framed out everything but the window.
Interesting.
Yeah. Where he gets punched.
Yeah.
This is a love story.
Yeah.
Essentially between two friends.
Yeah.
An unlikely friendship, I guess you could say, right? Because it's about one young woman who is in a relationship at the beginning, and she breaks up with what could be the love of her life, but let's face it, it's very hard to have a love of your life when you're in high school, just because life is so busy. So
spoiler alert.
But it's not. This is part of the...
It spoils the setup, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, not for the film. I meant for people's lives. Like if there's any high school students listening and they think they're with their true love.
Yeah. She's operating at a level that's way more sophisticated than I am. I'm thinking about
she's smarter than we are. She's a woman.
I think it might be because I'm listening to the conversation instead of... Never mind.
You're here. We're happy.
The setup, though, the setup of the film, though, you kind of, if you're going to talk about it, what do you have to mention certain things, because how else do you promote it? Yeah. It's a great setup where there's a breakup, and then there's a new girlfriend, and just through circumstances, these two women meet and become best friends, and then it's how do you manage that when you share a love for this other guy?
Yeah.
Well, your love together has to be really, really even bigger, maybe. And we're talking about the friendship love.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty solid. That's the kind of the universal story. And then I guess we were trying to sort of adjust that,
celebrating friendship.
Yeah, like growing up and choosing to prioritize like long-lasting relationships that might be harder at the outset. And,
right.
And I wanted to see it through the world of two young women, and I think that that age of 18 or 17, 18 is kind of tough. You're kind of supposed to hate the new girlfriend, maybe, and
sure.
And then I think it just as a director, I'm just removed enough from a millennial generation that I didn't grow up with social media, so I was kind of fascinated with how that dynamic of the new girlfriend and how that sort of works when you kind of live in public and you can see everybody's partner as soon as they move on your phone, and you have to put up with that.
And as you didn't write this film, I know, but I imagine that, now you try to do a love story or coming of age, it's like you have to incorporate social media issues and phones. It's like, that's not cinematic, but you did pull it off well. Having said that, it doesn't feel like, I don't know what's the right way to describe it, but it just feels sometimes, it just doesn't feel like when I'm watching a movie, I don't want to see people texting, but it does. It's inescapable now. How do you get through a contemporary story about young people without that being part of their day? Because they're always on their phones.
Yeah. We thought about that a lot. I mean, there's the rule I kind of came up with between myself and the DP Darren Moran was any time that there had to be information received by the audience watching the film, we would try to frame a shot so that it was interesting to look at, and we could watch a performance and then see text on the screen. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really want any icons or bubbles or anything like that. I mean, the only thing that's timeless about texting is that it's written language.
Yes. That's a good point.
That was to sort of universalize it. And then any time that a character within the narrative has to hide information from someone, we'd look over their shoulder to see what they were doing. So the audience was sort of in on that dramatic beat.
Yeah.
And then it kind of came down to, like, Annie did a lot of the ringtones and stuff. So it came into...
So you were doing sound design as well.
I guess so. That was
in those moments, yeah, we wanted ringtones, and you had sort of... I don't know. You were just able to do those.
I could finally put my little 8-bit Casios to good use, which was honestly the most fun part. It was just so cool. Make a little 10-second song.
You must have a nice collection of instruments.
Yeah.
Right? In the basement there?
A basement of them.
Yeah. A whole basement full.
Well, we tried to keep all those ideas timeless. I think it's easy to look at... I think it's easy for anybody of any generation to look at people on a phone and just write off that they're just wasting time or playing Scrabble or whatever.
Yes.
And it's especially true, I think, of anybody that's older than a millennial generation. They're just like, these kids are on their phones, but they're actually communicating and going through a whole emotional life. And they have really high emotional stakes that it's just processed in a way that seems introverted and is actually completely in public.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to mention all five.
That was deep.
I just don't, I just skim over real quick the deep parts, I guess.
That's good.
But the 5 young folks in the film, because there's the 4 that, well, there's the boy that was sort of part of that triangle, and then his best friend, who's actually part of the 4-cornered triangle. I don't know. And then there's a younger sister involved, and so I think all 5 were tremendous, and so I want to say that, and that makes the movie really special and unique in that way. And my kid really got into it.
Yeah, he was the litmus test. That was,
yeah.
I mean, we're in Woodstock, and I think it's a bit of an older demographic, and people that kind of have made an intentional life out of being an adult artist, and so it was nice to have someone that was of the age that we were, working with the narrative, and he seemed to like it.
He really liked it. Yeah, he was laughing all the way through, and he was, of course, glad again you had one supporting actor who was from the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
so that
Jacob Batalon,
that didn't hurt. That he was like really geeked when he saw that.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Jacob was he flew up for I think 3 days from Syracuse, and just he had no business doing a tiny movie like that. He sandwiched it between Spider-Man sequels, and he was leading in other movies too. But he was just cool, and I think he I don't know. I think he knew Hannah a little bit, and we just got really lucky, and he's a good dude.
But he just wants to work. Also, What was the working relationship between the two of you like as far as the music? Because I know I was at your Q&A yesterday, and you said that, you get a, what would you call it, dry version of the film, no music, right, of course. You didn't put in a temporary, or did you give her,
we had some temp stuff,
did you do that? Or did you start with like giving him some ideas of where you're going to go at Annie, and then ultimately find the right songs?
No, there was a lot of temp, but it started out with Ben sending me a playlist that he had made on Spotify.
Oh, right, that's right.
Of a lot of these references to just exactly what was in my wheelhouse. Fortunately, a lot of these analog synths.
Like an example that's on that playlist. Just since you brought it up.
Time Cop 1984 is on there.
Cop was on there, and
talking to the mic.
There was some chromatics.
Oh yeah,
sorry,
chromatics.
I thought you had a stereo mic. There was some chromatics. There was I think I subbed in a Hal Hartley track that he did under his pseudonym Ned Rifle.
Yeah,
and
Hal talk is always great.
It was the end credits theme for Simple Men.
Hal probably wrote it.
He did. Yeah, he wrote it. I talked to him about it because I worked with him on something. He said he had a dream, figured out the bass line in the dream, woke up one day and just recorded it the next morning. So amazing.
That's incredible.
Him and Paul McCartney, right?
Did Paul McCartney play?
He says he wrote Michelle, was it? Or, yesterday or Michelle. I always conflate them in his sleep.
Oh, my God.
Scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs, very good. You win the prize. Nice. Oh, of course you're a musician.
So, so I don't know. So that was a really good jumping off point, but I think Ben was really open to me having my own ideas coming just from, so I steeped myself into the musical world that he was kind of interested in creating. And then I didn't listen to the reference track at all, 0%, and just kind of went with my gut on a lot of things. And, for some scenes, this was the first feature that I had ever scored. And I had only ever done short little commercials and things, and had mostly just been a songwriter. But I felt like, other than naming my children, just like such a crazy sense of power that I wasn't like prepared for. Because for me, I don't know if it's true for everybody, but for me, the score is like the most influential, manipulative part of any film.
That's fair.
And so and having not even like met Ben face to face or even like really,
right, it was all phone
we just
calls
talked on the phone by Coastal.
Right.
But so I felt like, I just tried to get into the heads of the women, well, I guess they're girls really in the film, the young women, and just to try to like go back in my own mind and feel the feelings that I was feeling at the time when those similar experiences had happened to me, and just like go from there.
Yeah, I remember there was a couple songs where I was like, well, these are sort of the emotions that the characters might be trying to get at. And you were like, oh, I wrote down stuff that I just would have put in my journal about my boyfriend when I was 15, and I just wanted to hang out with him and he was everything. But then, Yeah. So, I mean, again, bringing it back to that sort of like universal approach to the emotional life of these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked.
Thank you.
Yeah, I felt good watching the whole film. I thought everything felt well synchronized in that way, emotionally, and otherwise. Hey, have you had a chance to show the film to any of your collaborators? Because of course, people know you as a cinematographer, DP, and you've worked for a number of directors. Have you shown any of those folks the film yet?
I
And
have.
Did you get the response you were hoping for?
I did. Yeah, everybody was really supportive.
Oh, that's good.
Trying to think of who I've shown it to. Some of the guys I did Red Oaks with. So,
right.
Greg Jacobs and
you might have run into Hal, right?
Yeah,
because he directed a bunch of those.
Yeah.
David Gordon
and,
Green.
David Green took a look at it, and Amy Heckerling gave us some good notes early on. And
nice.
Trying to think of who else I was showing it. Megan Griffiths was really supportive.
Oh.
She came to a couple feedback screenings, and while we were editing.
This is a nice
Walsh
companion to her last film.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
It's like the opposite
the
of
one
this
where, unless if they murdered their dads
life,
or whatever.
Megan was great. When we were editing, Brendan Walsh and the editor and I, we were very cognizant of the fact that we were like two straight white dudes trying to assemble this story in the edit, and so once a week we would bring in our smartest, bestest, most honest lady director friends that we'd worked with.
Yeah, makes sense.
Just to watch it. We'd ask just for ideas, and then like after we got their initial ideas, we'd be like, we need to make sure we're not putting our feet in our mouths, and more importantly, not doing anything damaging to any ideas about gender and sexuality. And
did they call you on anything?
For the most part, everybody was pretty supportive. The one thing I kind of called myself on something and asked Megan a question about it, and it was, I don't want to give away too much. There's an argument in the film, and someone calls someone out on some promiscuity, and it never really gets addressed by the end of the film, but it also is done in a moment of kind of weakness, and it's it's just like she kind of slut shames her, and it's
right.
I always sort of wrestled with the fact that never really got called out by the end of the film, but Megan was like, she maybe she was just trying to make me feel good, but she was like, in that moment,
April's
just trying to hurt her friend. Yeah,
right,
she's not making a political statement.
That's
she's just being a jerk.
Yeah, which she owns later on. So, yeah, very good. Well, you have another screening here at Woodstock tomorrow at in Rhinebeck. Where was that?
We are 6:30 at the Upstate Films in Woodstock itself.
Woodstock. Okay, very good.
Get some granola. Come on over.
I got to maybe spend the night editing.
Okay.
I'll edit all these shows and promote tomorrow's screenings. And,
cool.
It's such a great thing to bring you to have you on and to meet you, Annie. And
this is awesome. Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
really, it's such a nice opportunity. That's why I like coming, because I wasn't sure there would be time to do it, and
that's worked out.
Really thrilled.
I felt like we'd done it before because we ran into each other in Washington Square Park and talked about it.
Yeah,
that's why.
Oh yeah. I was recording that.
Oh, you were?
Yeah,
great.
It's for a very elite sub community of podcast listeners.
They just want the outtakes.
He doesn't know I'm recording. Yeah. So.
Excellent.
No, this is perfect. This was the great way to do it with your directorial debut.
Oh, my God. Thanks for having us both on. It's so cool to have Annie here and be able to talk about music.
It is. Yes. Well, I hope to have you back on too, Annie, because with another project. Now that you're a filmmaker yourself.
Now that you're going to be composing left and right because everybody's going to love your music.
I'm sure. There'll be more opportunities after you show people this film. Thank you both.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Bye. Thanks for having us.
Bye, Annie. Bye.